I don't know if you have a DVD to it, but let's just get this commentary over with. This is pretty much my least favorite Marvel movie outside the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's worse than Eternals, and that's saying something. Well, enjoy my misery. I'm probably going to be even more miserable when I do the commentary for Fantastic Four 2015. Enjoy. Welcome to Commentary Companions. I'm your host, Tony Garcia, and unfortunately, we are doing a commentary on Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance, released at a festival in 2011, but then theatrically released in 2012. I believe it was in February, if I'm correct. And, I've given leeway to most of the other Marvel films that haven't gotten positive reviews, like, Daredevil, Blade Trinity, and I've given an appraisal, a bit of a reappraisal to Hulk 2003, but Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance was probably the first Marvel movie to ever really leave me disappointed. This film is pretty much my least favorite Marvel movie of them all, and I think everyone who worked on it mutually agrees with me. Would probably mutually agree with me. Even the actors who worked on it would mutually disagree with me. So yeah, I know the first Ghost Rider isn't perfect, but the second film's worse. Also, I did know that this was Idris Elba, best known for playing Heimdall in the films, and there's Anthony Head, Giles. I mean, yeah, did I mention that I like Idris Elba and Anthony Stewart Head? Of course, I love Anthony Stewart Head best for playing Giles on Buffy. Dude deserves much better than being in Ghost Rider. Also, yeah, Idris Elba's character, whose name I forgot. Yeah, it's like his character did not originate from the comics. Get used to that. Most of these characters aren't really comic accurate. But yeah. Well, talk about finishing the conversation. But yeah. From what I've gathered, originally David S. Goyer wanted to make this like an R-rated, over-the-top romp, but for whatever reason, I guess the studio was like, no way, Jose, and just neutered it to a dull PG-13, a soft reboot or whatever. It's so convoluted and such. But yeah, I don't need to say much about David S. Goyer, because I already mentioned him a lot in the Blade trilogy. And, yeah, I think this is also his, if I remember, I think kind of sixth involvement with a Marvel project. His first was for the television movie Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., which he says was mauled alive. And, after that there was the Blade trilogy, and he was kind of involved with Ghost Rider. But here he has a writing credit. A writing credit here for Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance. Oh, there's your answer. Oh, how could you kill Giles like that, you bastard! But anyway, yeah, Mark Steven Johnson decided to not return as director for this one. And instead, Ghost Rider 2 was directed by Mark Neveldine and Brian Taylor, who were pretty much a collaborative duo from 2006 to 2011. They pretty much stopped collaborating to focus on their own solo efforts. Together, Mark Neveldine and Brian Taylor directed the Crank films starring Jason Statham, Gamer starring Gerard Butler, and they wrote Jonah Hex, which probably explains their quality of movies. Now, I can't really say much about Mark Neveldine because it seems he's not exactly a great director, but interestingly, he's married to Alison Lohman, who coincidentally was in Drag Me to Hell, directed by Spider-Man director Sam Raimi. Isn't that interesting? But yeah, on his own, director Brian Taylor has directed 9 episodes of the dark comedy action series Happy, writing 5 episodes. Happy is, a sci-fi from the Sci-Fi Channel. And he also wrote and directed Hellboy, The Crooked Man, and he collaborated with Nicolas Cage again in the black comedy horror film Mom and Dad. Isn't that interesting? Now, Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance was also co-written by Scott Gimple and Seth Hoffman. Scott Gimple's career is quite interesting because before that he wrote 2 episodes of Timon and Pumbaa, and he created the animated series Fillmore, co-starring Tara Strong. He also wrote 3 episodes of American Dragon Jake Long, and he wrote 2 episodes of El Tigre, The Adventures of Manny Rivera. Now, isn't that insane? But yeah, after that, and after Ghost Rider, he was a showrunner of The Walking Dead from seasons 4 through 8, and he executively produced 3 spin-off shows, including Fear the Walking Dead. Now, Seth Hoffman wrote 59 episodes of Prison Break, 5 episodes of House MD, and was a producer on the show for 45 episodes. And he wrote 10 episodes of The Walking Dead and executively produced 48 episodes. I actually did find that interesting. Now, as I mentioned in my Commentary Companions episode of Punisher Warzone, the film was co-produced by Marvel's imprint Marvel Knights, which was meant to produce darker, grittier takes on their lesser-known characters. And Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance was their second and last movie that they produced. After that, Marvel decided to just drop the Marvel Knights imprint and just do other things, because eventually, yeah, Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance was the last one they did, and also the only one that got a PG-13 rating. Pretty lame. But of course, Marvel learned that they could do R-rated stuff successfully with films like Deadpool and Logan. And, I'm actually looking forward to doing commentary companions for Deadpool and Logan more than I am Spirit of Vengeance. But, it's kind of chronological. Now, interestingly, the film's composer was David Sardi. Before he was a composer, David Sardi was the leader of the 90s noise rock band, Band Market. He was also a record producer. Other films that David Sardi has composed are 21, that's a gambling movie, Zombieland, 21 Jump Street, End of Watch, Monster Trucks, Bright, Zombieland Double Tap, and The Beekeeper. I'm wondering if Idris Elba did Ghost Rider 2 before or after filming with Thor. He's much better as Heimdall than he is here. But then again, I don't think it's his fault that this film sucks. You know what I mean? Yeah. Eh. But yeah, this was originally intended to be a dark and violent R-rated adaptation that would have fixed much of what fans disliked about the first installment, but Sony got cold feet about the idea and instead wanted to go for a more marketing-friendly PG-13 rating. Also, this is pretty much an unsurprising fact. This film was not screened in advance for critics. Gee, I wonder why. Now, I had never really... Now, you're probably not going to be shocked. I didn't watch this in theaters. I mean, at the time, I was a freshman. My family was broke. We had to really budget ourselves and really be... And if we were... And going to the movies was a treat. I was able to see The Avengers in theaters, and I was able to see The Amazing Spider-Man in theaters, but I didn't get to see Ghost Rider in theaters. I'm not sure whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. I probably would have been left disappointed if I had seen it in theaters. Also, interestingly, some of the crew members found real Roman coins during filming. I didn't even know that. But yeah, Idris Elba wears contact lenses similar to the ones that Heimdall wears in the Thor films. Now, the filmmakers, I believe specifically Mark Neveldine and Brian Taylor, are horror film fans and considered Ghost Rider as a supernatural character rather than a superhero. Also, Johnny's motorcycle is a Yamaha VMAX. Yep, immediately turned him off. Nice one, kid. Yeah, better skedaddle before he catches on. But yeah, that kid is pretty much Danny. He is Danny Ketch. Now, the Danny Ketch in the this is actually Danny Ketch's on-screen cinematic live-action debut. And boy, did they do Danny dirty. That was alliterative. They did Danny dirty. They did Danny dirty. Say that three. I'm gonna say that 5 times. They did Danny dirty. 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 I am doing this tonight. You're probably gonna start a fight. But yeah, Danny Ketch made his comic book debut in Ghost Rider #1, Volume 3 in May of 1990. In the comics, Danny is Johnny Blaze's long-lost brother. The Blaze family has a mystical curse related to the spirits of vengeance. In the comics, Danny becomes Johnny's successor as the Ghost Rider. And interestingly, the Danny Ketch Ghost Rider also becomes a founding member of a new Fantastic Four alongside Spider-Man, Wolverine, and Hulk. Sounds awesome, right? You won't get this interesting version of Ghost Rider here. But it would be kind of cool if we saw that in cartoons. Like, imagine if Disney decides to do, like, a new Ghost Rider in... a new Ghost Rider, a new Fantastic Four with, Spidey, Ghost Rider, Hulk, and Wolverine. They could call it the new Fantastic Four with Fred Tatasciore as Hulk, Steve Blum or Cal Dodd as Wolverine, and maybe Christopher Daniel Barnes as Spider-Man. That would be awesome. Ooh, fiery trail. Perfect, he's probably thinking. Excuse me. But yeah, Danny Ketch was created by Howard Mackey and Javier Saltares. Howard Mackey is best known for writing stories for Spider-Man, X-Men, Ghost Rider, and the X-Men. He also wrote the amalgam character Speed Demon, who is a combo of Ghost Rider, Etrigan the Demon, and the Flash. Which is, I've read that comic, and it's actually pretty interesting. Like, it's very supernatural, and it has some cool ideas, as someone who's a fan of the Flash and Ghost Rider. Yeah, I'm the people after you. Did I mention how lame this guy is before he becomes, Blackout? Oh yeah, spoiler, but then again, like anyone gives a shit. Well, here's another interesting fact. Ghost Rider's first solo series was published in September of 1973, lasting until 1983. That's specifically, Volume 1 and all that. Yep, that's why my boss needs him. Oh, so yeah, the actress is an Italian actress who in films I've never even heard of. Alright, and here we finally have the Ghost Rider. At least it didn't take him 40 minutes or an hour. As, films like Fantastic and Hulk would have done that. Sorry. Also, I need to just talk about his design. I really liked the first design with the clean skull and that was on fire, and yet for whatever reason, he looks more like a charred skeleton with like an actual skull on fire. But I know it sounded cool on paper, but I don't like it. I never liked it. It was pretty much one of the things I didn't like about Ghost Rider. I much prefer the previous design with the clean skull. This seriously bothers me. So his design totally bothers me. It was name a bigger downgrade than this. Please do not comment Millie Alcock as Supergirl. Just shut up about that. Him. Be nice. Yeah, nice ducking. Okay, yeah, that's kind of cool seeing him just go, toasty! Yeah, but, well, don't just stand there, do something. This is what I mean when I see how dull it is. I think there's a reason Eva Mendes turned down the chance to reprise her role as Roxanne in the film. I wonder why. And that's his first line. Hungry. Okay, I guess I'm sounding a little too snobbish. Oh, I guess he's doing the penance stare or something. Yeah, it's been 14 years since I've watched this film. Did you know that the child actor is actually Scottish? Yeah, that's kind of cool, I guess. Because I love the Scots. Would love to go to Scotland one day. So is he just doing the penance there? I can't really tell. It's like, what's this? Ugh, man, I wish I had an audio description for this, because I rented it. Yeah. Okay, I can definitely see the composer's roots as a rock star, if that makes sense. Wow, look at how easily they were able to take him down. Seriously? Ugh. Walk it off. Oh, he says get some like it makes him sound cool or whatever. Really, he's just lame. And I think I'll see whatever crap the guy playing Blackout was in. Okay, Ghost Rider. Yep, and he's in the hospital. Yay. Yeah, it's interesting. The film managed to make 3 times its budget. Actually, respect for that, but blech. Yeah, so Matt Long was originally set to play young Johnny Blaze again, but he was replaced by some guy named Ionut Christian Lefter. Whatever. Okay, so Johnny Whitworth. Let's see, he was in. Oh, he was Donnie Ray Black in The Rainmaker, Vernon Gant in Limitless. He played Gage Wallace in The 100. What else? Oh, yeah, he was in 310 to Yuma, the 2007 remake. That's cool. Oh, he was actually in an episode of The Shield starring Michael Chiklis. You know, The Thing. That's cool. But yeah, not much else. Not much else of worth. Hey, how you doing? Okay, for some unexplained reason, this movie was released in some Asian countries, including the Philippines, by Warner Brothers Pictures, which, holds rights and produces adaptations of Marvel of DC, and Sony and Marvel credits are retained, however. I don't know why. I guess it must be an international thing. Yeah. Yep, so that's Kieran Hines as Mephisto. Like you give a shit. But yeah, you might know Kieran Hines best for playing Steppenwolf on Justice League and for voicing the Stone Troll King in Frozen. He's much better in Frozen than he is here. But that's pretty much not a surprise. But yeah, originally Peter Fonda was offered the chance to reprise his role as Mephisto from the first film, and he was interested, but after reading 5 pages of the script, Fonda was unimpressed with the quality of the script, and he immediately turned it down. And of course, I think he dodged a bullet. Jeez. Mephisto is getting chunky. Is he doing a fake American accent? It's very underwhelming. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I prefer his menacing voice that was modulated in Zack Snyder's Justice League. Yeah, I'd rather be watching Zack Snyder's Justice League than be doing this. Yeah. Then again, is anyone surprised? Oh, condescending. Emphasis on firewall. Yeah, I suggest you keep moving. Heath hung up, you dumbass. My rider senses are tingling. Now, unlike the first movie where Ghost Rider is portrayed by a stuntman or CGI, Nicolas Cage used makeup to provide motion capture as the Ghost Rider. But yeah, the filmmakers wanted Ghost Rider's first appearance to be kind of quiet rather than flashy. Also, yes, this is the last. Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance is the last time that Mark Neveldine and Brian Taylor have worked together. The pair split after completing this film to pursue other outlets. Yes or no? But yeah, Eva Longoria was considered for the role of Nadia. So a motorcyclist was hanging off the side of a motorcycle like a guy doing a horse stunt. The motorcyclist was digitally painted out. It helped the filmmaker save $42.37. But yeah, the film was filmed in Eastern Europe to keep the budget low. Also, this film is the only PG-13 film that Neveldine and Taylor had ever did. One of the ideas early on was that everything that Ghost Rider touches turns into a hell version of that thing. Originally, the idea for the big set piece was that it was going to be a wrecking ball from a construction site, but during pre-production, the filmmakers couldn't find a wrecking ball. The production designer came up with a strip miner instead. The filmmakers were able to find an unused strip miner. Yeah, because he's the son of Satan, even though he's supposed to be Danny's long-lost brother. So yeah, Nicolas Cage improvised some of his lines, including a callback to the 2007 film where he talks about jelly beans. Yeah, that's a sign that you're dying. Famous last words. Your womb. Devil's baby mama. So the idea of Ghost Rider into daylight was a sort of controversial idea early in the development process. Also, the hospital Johnny Blaze woke up in was an actual Bucharest hospital and was cleaned up for filming. Okay, you might find this somewhat interesting. Nicolas Cage based Ghost Rider's performance off of his two pet cobras. Huh. Yeah, so the previous incarnations of the devil that are shown include Vlad the Impaler, Joseph Stalin, a clown who is possibly referencing serial killer John Wayne Gacy, and Jerry Springer. And yeah, that's actually the directors in that cameo of the handshake, based off of a Pink Floyd album. I guess that's kind of cool. Not much. I don't really care for Pink Floyd. I don't hate Pink Floyd. I'm just completely indifferent to it. That's racist. So she's Romani, and you use the outdated slur. It's like it's outdated when they're able to use that the outdated G slur. Hey, at least he put on his seatbelt. That's good. A little saboteur. I was like, whoop, at least I kept my seatbelt on. So yeah, Nick Cage weirded out the production crew when he strode out onto the set in full Baron Samedi makeup, based on the character from Live and Let Die. Although Ghost Rider's Flaming Skull was created digitally after filming was complete, Cage still wanted to fully burrow into the part using more conventional makeup techniques. Oh, yeah, Moro, yeah, that's his name. Like I said, it's lame. But yeah, the film was shot in Romania and Turkey over a period of 4 months. My leg! Dude, what happened? You just jinxed yourself, man. But yeah, the filmmakers considered this film a reboot rather than a sequel, which would explain the inconsistent continuity errors. But yeah, the filmmakers described the demon inside Johnny Blades as a metaphor for drug addiction. But yeah, the car Danny was in with the men was originally supposed to be redirected, but crashed into concrete during filming, resulting in a rewrite. Yeah, you should be. I'm Nicolas Cage. Upon meeting Fergus Riordan, the filmmakers thought he was American at first because he lacked a Scottish accent. For the underground fight scene, it was filmed in a 1980s communist-era library that was unfinished. Count every dollar, I don't want these idiots robbing me. Everyone's robbing me. It makes my balls hurt. Hello, Vasil. Here we go. This is probably my least favorite scene because of Nick Cage's over-the-top acting. Yeah, that's what I... Yeah, just... yeah. Yeah, this is the Nick Cage pretty much desperate with the IRS as he goes completely full overblown acting. And normally, whenever Cage goes ham, it's usually pretty funny sometimes. But here, it's more like he's doing the over-top acting, and it's not even funny anymore. Oh, man. He's scraping at the door. Yeah, I know that sounds funny, and just, yeah, this is where... This might be my least favorite Nicolas Cage performance. That's not a good thing for me to say, but it's actually... I am curious to see how he's going to play the live-action Spider-Man Noir. Should be probably better than Ghost Rider 2. Can I have my prescription, please? You ever piss blood? The Quarry. I wonder, was this his 50th take or his 100th take? You gotta go, Johnny said calmly. Toasty! Also, this transformation scene is probably also the most underwhelming transformation. I much prefer the first transformation from the first film, as that one was actually cool with Christopher Young's score. Oh boy. I remember being so underwhelmed by that scene when I first watched it on television. That should say something. Ugh. How this film has gone downhill. Now, what other interesting facts can I talk about? Gobstang. Oh, this is kind of funny. The distant city lights are actually Christmas lights. That's cute. Also, there were 500 background extras for the underground fight scene. Now, the filmmakers did a lot of research into souls for the penance stare. Also, Nicolas Cage took out a lot of aggression on the extras for the mosh pit scene. Also, the filmmakers used practical effects as much as possible to make the film have a lower budget. I can't really tell. But I have to respect this. So the film was made with 1/3 to 1/2 the budget of the first film. But yeah, the script was initially worked on for 2 years. So I think, the first year we had David S. Goyer, and then Scott Gimple and Seth Hoffman got involved, pretty much mauling his script alive. Or maybe it was the studio that mauled it alive. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time that a studio pretty much mauled a script alive and turned it to shit. Look no further than X-Men Origins Wolverine. Oh god, so the script was described as Lord of the Rings meets The Da Vinci Code and The Grudge meets Mad Max. I can't tell. And I've seen the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Now, Mark Neveldine and Brian Taylor improved, and I say this in quotation marks, improved the script in a month. Doesn't look like an improvement to me. But they started filming in 2010. But the film had a test screening at Culver City, California on June 15th, 2011, with friends and family of the filmmakers attending. He's got a look that says, "Bitch, you thought." There was a lot of discussion about Kerrigan's beanie, with Johnny Whitworth deciding Kerrigan would wear a beanie because the air gets moist and humid and his hair would get ruined. Huh. The cell phone that the man Johnny Blaze has in his mouth, it's a cherry-flavored cell phone. In the original script, it would be in his backside. Also, so the baby mama quote that Johnny Blaze says earlier was the first line in Neveldine and Taylor's rewrite. How many times was Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance rewritten? And Google is thinking. Doesn't say how many explicitly. Oh boy. Yeah, I do not like. I don't like Kerrigan at all. He's probably one of the. He's definitely one of the. I could probably make a list of the lamest Marvel villains, and he and Darben would be on that list. Oh dear. In one of the nighttime takes, Nick Cage kissed Nadia's actress Violante at the end of the take. She pushed him off of her. The filmmakers realized that Violante's husband happened to come that night. He was at the monitor watching the improvisational's kiss. For the scene where Nadia was shooting from her sniper rifle, stock footage of soldiers getting shot and killed were used. You know, I want to be impressed with the idea of him using that, but I'm just so underwhelmed. Even Danny looks unimpressed. Oh sure, because a bazooka will totally do wonders. Kaboom. Oh yeah, and he spat out blood. That's not good. Oh dear. The humanity. Get over here! Sorry, I just had to have him say that. But sorry. I see. But yeah, is he trying to overact Nick Cage? But yeah, Nick Cage based his performance on Ghost Rider off of his two pet cobras. Yeah. Now the film's costume designer was Bojana Nikitovic, or maybe it's Bohana Nikitovic, and Nikitovic has done work on The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou, Marie Antoinette starring Kirsten Dunst, the Wolfman remake from 2010, A Good Day to Die Hard, Underworld Blood Wars, 5 episodes of Krypton, and 6 episodes of Dune Prophecy. Bro. Let her go, bro. Okay, if you say so. Oh, man. I bet you heard that crack. Ooh, he's coming into conflict. I feel a little woozy here. Smoky. Yeah, Danny has the ability to neutralize Ghost Rider. What the fuck was that? Actually, that's interesting. He kind of wishes that, I guess Danny wishes that he kind of had a father-son moment like that. I get it. In case you're hungry. Ha. Stinky face. Ha. Yeah, that's good. Wolverine healing. Yeah, I didn't need no doctors. That's a good one. Okay, so yeah, actually, Nicolas Cage literally drank 8 to 10 pitchers of water for this take because he was going through a urinary tract infection. That's fun, but I don't blame him. After having your skull on fire, I'd be thirsty too. And hopefully they won't double cross us. On the open road. No, sir. Ah, yes. Gone is Kerrigan, and in his place. Oh, yeah, he was actually Johnny Whitworth was actually buried in there for 2 hours. Sorry, jackass. Well, but I'm dead. Wait, but he's saying that in English, but why are there subtitles? Inconvenient. Yeah, Kieran Hines is lame as Mephisto. Kind of like how he's lame as Steppenwolf in the theatrical cut. But so I give my power to you. He's like a cat just going into a hidey hole. Yep. Henceforth, you shall be known as Blackout. But yeah, that's supposed to be his name, but he's in name and appearance only because the writers and the filmmakers took creative liberties. Like, you're half dead. Yep, they could have made a different villain entirely and named him Dimnock. Power of Decay. Yeah, want to try it out? Give it a test run? What the hell was that? Like, seriously, was that transition even necessary? I mean, that would have been scary to maybe a 10-year-old, but here it's just underwhelming. What a rush. Yes, master. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Blackout is in movie and appearance in name only. Now, Blackout made his comic book debut in issue number 2 of Ghost Rider, Volume 3 in June of 1990, also created by Howard Mackie and Javier Soltares. Blackout in the comics can create light-dampening fields that negate all visible light. He is extremely sensitive to light and has metallic teeth and nails. And in the comics, he's one of Danny's arch-enemies. Jeez, did a 13-year-old write that joke? Not exactly. But kind of at the same time. Yeah, sometimes. Best way to describe it. Yeah. Famous last words. And I don't usually help people. Yeah, it's his curse to bear, and he might be the next Ghost Rider. Oh, hey, Moreau. I hope you have finished shooting at me. Also, I have to respect the fact that Idris Elba did his own stunts for this film. He also almost broke his ankle, but the worst he suffered was a sprain. So he was okay. But I do respect that. For the scene where Nadia was shooting from her sniper rifle, stock footage of soldiers getting shot and killed were used. Now, technically, Idris Elba should be addressed as Sir Idris Elba, for he was actually knighted on December 29th, 2025, for his services to charity and youth work. Okay, seeing Blackout pretty much touching the food and causing a decay, I mean, yeah, I guess it must have been a lighthearted scene. And, that apple looks CG. You don't say. But then the Twinkie doesn't decay, which actually did get a genuine laugh out of me. Because, Twinkies hardly expire. That did get a good laugh out of me. Not gonna lie. It's still kind of amusing. And I do believe it was one of the last things filmed for the movie. Now you know, and knowing is only half the battle. G.I. Joe! I purposely botched that. If that got a laugh out of you. Shh, be very, very quiet. I'm hunting rabbits. Rabbit wax. Supposedly. Now, a lot of these monks were actually trained by Steven Seagal, and there's Christopher Lambert. I must admit, this was actually Christopher Lambert's first major Hollywood role in a long time. And it's like, now I recognize him. It's like, but I remember him best for playing Connor McLeod in Highlander. He's so much better in Highlander, and not bad for a guy who barely spoke English back then and spoke mostly French. But I think you might find this interesting. Now, Christopher Lambert was required to wear makeup that depicted heavy tattoos covering his entire head. It took so long to take off that Lambert decided to keep it on when he returned to his hotel each night until his filming schedule was complete. Yeah, give him credit. I mean, he lives up to his promise. That's respectable. Yeah, we made it. And we only have 42 minutes left. Yay. Moody teenager. Yeah, he's definitely doing a fake French accent. I much prefer his elegant and sexy British accent. But yeah, those are actual. There's actual wine in it over there. Real bottles of wine. I actually do like the mythology here, explaining the origins of the spirit of vengeance. But yeah, they use the beautiful images to. That way, it wouldn't be just Idris Elba talking. Actually, it makes sense that Moreau has a French accent. Vengeance. Ho ho ho. Maybe. Can you feel it coming in the air tonight, oh Lord? Mon ami. 2000. He probably has dust on his lips now. It's like, okay. Don't say Rourke, just say Mephisto, gosh darn it. And again, this film clearly doesn't respect the comics, so why should I expect the characters to respect the comics? Yep. Really, you made the deal for you. Okay, this is interesting. Christopher Lambert underwent 3 months of sword training and shaved his head for his role. And that Lamb of God is quite stale. Yeah. Hence the staleness. Yep. Oh, great. I bet you that was just rolled on cue. Yeah, now things are gonna get psychedelic. Well, again, I don't think psychedelic's the right word. But yeah, when Johnny Blaze gets his powers taken away, gets the Ghost Rider powers taken away, the filmmakers wanted to treat it more like an exorcism. They described it as an extra action scene that isn't really an action scene. They shot Nicolas Cage in a 360-degree set as well as in a green screen. But yeah, it immediately made me think of Crazy Train from Black Sabbath. All aboard! I do wonder what it would have been like with Christopher Young's score. Probably would have been way more subtle. Yep. Nicholas, it's time for you to wake up. Funny, my hands don't feel like they're on fire. Moreau! Where are you? No, you did it, Johnny. Yep, what did you think was going to happen? Why does he look like Matt Smith? Or does Matt Smith look like Christopher Lambert? You had no doy? Well, so I'm sorry that I didn't do a commentary companions episode on the 1995 Mortal Kombat film. Going through crap. Oh, wow. Talk about a pressure point choke. Take them away until the thing is done. This is really making me look forward to The Amazing Spider-Man, which I never thought I would say. He's not. Oh. Honestly, I'd rather be watching Highlander, starring Christopher Lambert. That film's more entertaining. Yep. Sharp enough. Ooh, what's this? Is this a vision? One vision. Fried chicken. What a surprise. Blackouts come to play. Blackout come to play. Blackout come to play. Why can't this be filmed normal? Yes, yeah, don't fuck with Connor McLeod. Oh, wait. Never mind. Ugh. It's like seeing Highlander 2. Just doing Christopher Lambert all dirty. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Ugh. Lame. He's thinking, well, this is fucked up. I think he's not. It's pretty much like out of the oven and into out of the frying pan and into the fire. How is that said? Is it into the fire quote? Oh yeah, out of the frying pan into the fire, meaning moving from a bad situation to a worse situation. Famously used in The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. But it also originates from 18th century literature. Yep, escaping goblins to be caught by escaping murderous monks to be caught by a guy who can make you decompose with a touch. Into the jaws of death, into the mouth of hell. That's bad. He'll be... Yep. Nude Satan. Yeah. Prophecy schmophecy. Yeah, you got what you wanted. What can I say except you're welcome? Yeah. Uzak Gokten in Turkey. Gobble, gobble, gobble. Yep. There's Mephisto, or Mephistopheles. Yeah. Cutting it a bit close. Huh. Danny boy. I'm your daddy. Yeah. Red eye on the left. But the actors of the chanting monks were so delirious from a lack of sleep and cold. Yeah, just in case. Naughty priests. Yeah, flamethrower. Oh yeah, here we go. A 13-year-old clearly thought of that joke. Flamethrower made of paper mache. Yep. And I'm not a fan of it. This is why I don't remember Kieran Hines was in this film. He looks like discount Robert De Niro. Okay, maybe I'm wailing on Kieran Hines. Kieran Hines has already dealt with enough with Justice League. I don't think I need to wail on him even more. You know? Yep. Nighty night, Danny. How comforting. In other words, Donald Trump's best friends. The new king. And my thoughts exactly, Cage. I mean, Johnny. How comforting. Already sounds like America right now. Walk this way, walk this way. Rise, my minions. Yeah, I think Kieran Hines must have worn a contact lens for that. Jeez, Doom post much? Yeah. Ugh, that is so cliched. Even I've used that cliche. It's like, I've done a lot of bad things, but XYZ is the one good thing out of it. But yeah, Blackout's effects on touching people were inspired by foot fungus. Fun. Yeah, I think that's stock footage of soldiers being shot. Uh-oh, I'm busted. I'm gonna play Knuckles. And now we drink. That makes sense. I mean, if you're gonna go out, may as well have one last drink. Yeah, the reason he says that is because, well, it's a 2,000-year-old wine, and it typically takes 2 weeks to 2 months for wine to turn into vinegar when exposed to air and a starter culture. Without a starter, the natural oxidation process can take several months, though open bottles often spoil within a few days to a few weeks. But yeah, adding a live bacteria or raw unpasteurized vinegar speeds up the process significantly, sometimes taking just 10 to 20 days. Warm temperatures and increased oxygen exposure accelerate the process. So, which is kind of explains why he said the whole looks like it could go good on a salad, like as a vinegar. It took me a long time to realize that, oh yeah, vinegar is a result of expired wine, technically. Actually, I may as well look it up. Okay. Is wine technically... Whoops. Is vinegar technically expired wine? Well, fermented, so not really expired. But I guess I may as well, expired alcohol. But yeah, vinegar is technically oxidized or expired alcohol in that it is produced by bacteria consuming the alcohol, ethanol, in a liquid and converting it into an acetic acid, kind of taking out the alcohol in it. I mean, it makes sense to me. What the hell is he even saying? Oh yeah, firewall, like he said. You know, you gotta give Morrow credit. Even though he knows he's gonna die at the hands of Blackout, he basically, he goes out fighting. And I gotta respect him for that. Whee! I really don't like the cinematography perspective of that. Man, it sucks that Morrow had to go out. Because, you know, he was one of the few interesting characters of this film. And that's saying something. Not a bad last lines, and he goes out headbutting Blackout. I respect that. Didn't deserve that. Like, yep, said it before I could. I get that his body's decaying or dying, but man, that's a lame delivery. Whoa! For a second, I thought the hand was like crawling and it. Talk about teasing. It's like, what are you doing, boy? What you doing, boy? Doesn't run far from the tree. I bet that was funny when he said it. It's not who I am underneath. It's what I do that defines me. Right? And he says that defiantly. All right. I'm going to do my best impression of Mama Bird. Sign here, huh? Okay. Yeah, apparently the filmmakers were a little uncomfortable filming the scene where Danny fire pukes on Johnny Blaze. I know my mom would agree with that. Not saying that to make fun of my mom. It's a joke, I swear. The closest we get to a real Ghost Rider transformation. It's like, get up. Oh, yeah. It's like, quickly, we better conceal it before he rises. Bitch, you thought. There it is. Ghost Rider. Okay, whoops. Did Kieran Hines do his own stunts for Ghost Rider Spirit? Yep. Here's Ghost Rider. Well, I guess he didn't. This is supposed to be cool, and yet I am underwhelmed. I was more engaged with Hulk wrecking the military in the 2003 movie than I am here. So, the Wilhelm scream. At least someone had the decency to include the Wilhelm scream. I wonder if it's the first time a Marvel movie used a Wilhelm scream. I may as well look that up. What was the first Marvel movie to include the Wilhelm scream? So I guess I think there was also, I think it was either Howard the Duck or Captain America the First Avenger to be the first Marvel film to include the Wilhelm scream. At least someone did. Even the glass is decaying. Actually, how long does it take for a glass window to decay? Now, while glass bottles can take up to 1 million years to decompose in landfills, residential window glass typically remains intact for 15 to 30 years, so the window unit as a whole may need replacement due to seal failure, frame decay, or inefficient insulation. Modern window lifespan depends heavily on the material. If it's a fiberglass window, 30 to 50 years. Vinyl window, 20 to 40 years. Wood windows, 15 to 30 years with proper maintenance. Aluminum windows, 15 to 30 years. So, give or take, 15 or 30 years. That's how long it would take for a car window to decay. How many times has Ghost Rider clashed with Blackout? So yeah, many times Ghost Rider and Blackout have clashed. Because, they're enemies. Arch rivals and all that. It's starting to fade out. Do you think he cares? You will be. You will be. And that's the penance stare. Bye. Roadkill. I much prefer that, his other voice. Whee! Yep. You got a motorcycle on your trail? A flaming motorcycle. Come here! Come here! Yoink. I wonder if that was that might have been an actual car that just flipped here and there. Yoinky, yoinky, yoink. Yeah, if I had a nickel for every time Ghost Rider defied and turned against Mephisto, I'd have 2 nickels. Which isn't a lot, but it's strange that it's happened twice, or maybe, then again, cinematically speaking, in the movies. It's like, you are not Peter Fonda, bitch. Oh wow! So so this film uses the word fuck. I think it's the only one to do that. For the only Ghost Rider film to use the word fuck. Honestly, this should have been satisfying. But without Peter Fonda, it just isn't the same. And, yeah, so Rourke getting disintegrated in the fire was added after a test screening. Like anyone gives a shit. It's like, he is so satisfied. But it's almost like an interesting transformation is occurring. The spirit of vengeance is metamorphosizing. Yeah, you better get the kid out of the car now. It's like, well, don't just stand there. Help her. Yeah, he's so stiff when he's taking him out. You know, it would be nice to see Disney Plus do a TV show about Ghost Rider. Just saying. I mean, there's nowhere to go but up. Welcome back, Johnny. Yep. Probably an inappropriate time to laugh. Also, it's interesting how his skeleton isn't charred when he becomes the spirit of justice. And that it's like a white light. A bluish white light. A bluish white flame. Gonna say yes. Yeah. Hell yes. And those are the finishing line. Oh, wait, nope. Oh. Yep, and those are the final lines. My name is Johnny Cage. Johnny Cage is Johnny Blaze. I'm the Ghost Rider. Yeah, so this film, like I said, Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance is my least favorite film. And of course, Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance was the last movie that was the last, one of the last Marvel movies that Sony did, aside from Spider-Man, because after that, Nicolas Cage said he was done with Spider-Man for... Sorry, I meant to say... It's like Nicolas Cage said he was done with Ghost Rider for good. Like, he was not going to return. And after that, well, Sony was pretty much done with Ghost Rider as well. They saw more profit with the Spider-Man franchise, and after that, the rights to Ghost Rider reverted back to Marvel Studios, who would then use Ghost Rider for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And not much else. Hopefully, we'll see more of Johnny Blaze or Robbie Reyes in the Marvel Cinematic Universe sometime soon. I mean, Ryan Reynolds wanted to bring back Nicolas Cage as Ghost Rider for Deadpool and Wolverine, but those plans fell through. Maybe it's for the better. It probably would have been way more overstuffed than it needed to be. But personally, yeah, Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance is my least favorite Marvel movie ever made. It is a downgrade to the first Marvel movie. It's just, and it's still underwhelming even 14 years later. But yeah, that was my commentary regarding Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance. But but the next one will be The Amazing Spider-Man, which I am actually unironically looking forward to doing. But anyway, thanks for listening to my commentary regarding Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance. Be sure to like and subscribe. Don't have a good day. Have a great day.